Hey everyone, this is Jamie back again for episode number 5 of Distance Learning, Reboot, and Reflection. So for this episode, I want to talk to you about subject matter boosts. Okay, this is really exciting. I learned so much from the online high school teachers from the Stanford conference I was at, and I just want to share, this isn't a long video, just a few quick resources for our math teachers, science for all teachers are kind of organized by subject on one link, for our writing teachers, and then for our world language teachers. Also, there's this really cool thing with like making foldables out of paper. So stick around for that because I think that's good for all subject matters. Okay, so let me scroll down to the resources I have for you. All right, so first, the math teachers talked a whole lot about using Desmos and distance learning. And when I Googled it to check on this, because I know some of you already know Desmos and use it, I found this website that talks about all of their resources related to distance learning. So they have activities curated by grade level, by topic. So I hope this is super helpful for our math teachers. So you can click on that and then see some of the options, and all kinds of information is here for you about using Desmos. And if you want to learn more, or if you are using it, like we can partner you up with some teachers who are using this because I think it'll be a good resource for you. Okay, for science teachers, really excited about this. I learned so much. So I have this doc for you. The science teachers created it, and this is for bio, chem, physics, and AP environmental science. And I think astronomy is sprinkled into some of your courses, so there'll be some things there. But they created this resource for you of tons of resources, this Google Doc full of resources. I bet some of them you already know, but I wanted to share it with you. And the thing that, let me grab my notebook, the thing that they talked about, the science teacher mentioned that I just thought was so cool and worth everybody hearing. Let me scroll and find my exact note. He talked about, hold on, just stalling, almost there. Okay, he said that if you do, he's speaking about chemistry, for example, if you do those really basic like kitchen experiments, and he specifically said like vinegar, salt, baking soda, and then marker and paper, and then have them work through all the different variations of the impact of those chemicals on the markers. So what you're ultimately trying to do is get the kids to create a large data set and then do something with it. So he said, as much as it is to kind of like make big experiments and all of those things in chem, it's really about the data and the analysis. So even if you're doing these, what would be considered very basic kind of kitchen experiments, and then have kids to record the data and then share all the data together, then what you're doing is that real world process where they're analyzing the data and making kind of judgments and evaluations. So he said kind of that's the goal, is like getting all the data points. So something to consider. And he also talked about things like this eggshell experiment, like deshelling eggs. And he said like the kids kind of loved that. And so I did some Googling on that to kind of find some things. And he also talked about doing like thought experiments. So I found this resource for you. And this is all about bizarre thought experiments. And hopefully this would be something that could be kind of fun for your students, where you kind of present this like what the thought experiments are, and then work through kind of, again, the reasoning part of this and making predictions. So I hope that helps science teachers. I found that to be super fascinating and really interesting. Okay, and then this document is for all teachers, and they created this Google slide, and then each teacher, a lot of these teachers were present at the session I was at. They talked about what worked best. So Robin talked about what works best for her in math, as well as this teacher. So there were 3 slides for math. There was a world language slide, a couple for science. This is the one that I was kind of talking about, who had so many good ideas about the experiments. And then here's one for physics, another one for physics, AP bio. And then again, English, there's a bunch. So hopefully this will help you just kind of get ideas from other teachers, and their job is online school. So that's why I thought it was so fascinating. They're just really sharing what works for them in their mode that they chose to teach in versus kind of our reality right now. So I hope that helps. And then I did some thinking based on how the English teachers kind of were talking about what was working for them in their classes. and found a couple cool resources. So I know one of our challenges right now in a lot of our classes is academic dishonesty and really worrying about that. And then I found this awesome article on Grammarly, and it really talks about like why you use plagiarism checkers on purpose when you're a good student. And I thought that really reframed some of the work we're doing with students in that you should be doing this. And this kind of reframed my thinking about it because, again, when we use turnitin.com or the plagiarism checker on Google or, submit the essays at paper.co and they get, plagiarism checked, we're kind of setting kids up like, we don't trust you. We need you to do this because we don't believe you're going to do your own work. But this article makes it much differently, explains it much differently that, you're often influenced by things that you read and you need to cite them correctly to give attribution. So again, for my English teacher friends or any of the teachers that are writing, having students write, this is kind of a cool article to think differently about why we have plagiarism checkers. So I like that a lot. I also found this was recommended by one of the attendees, one of the teachers in the chat, and it's this website full of really cool writing prompts. And this looks like, it's for like, if you're trying to get a master's in writing, there's some really cool prompts in here. So I thought English teachers, you'd like this for kind of free write and creativity. And then I loved this as a teacher. I would always have kids doing projects with like folding paper and, writing on them or like drawing what they were thinking. And so here's a super cool video about how to make a quick book, a mini book out of one piece of paper. I know like teachers of all grades and content areas could use this for a variety of things. I thought it was really cool. Again, it gets your kids, away from the screen for a second and they're working on something tactile, so important. And then in the chat, somebody posted this amazing resource. I'm loving the Fight On colors right here from our model. And there are tons of different types of foldables in here. So high school friends, don't scoff at this. Kids really like playing with paper. I did a lot in grad school with one of my master teachers, and there are some cool things in here. So there are a lot of different ways to make little books, and then you have the kids kind of do whatever you want, but there are 42 pages of awesome in here. So this goes beyond kind of the hamburger and burrito. Interesting. Versus the hot dog. I did not know it was called the burrito. The valley or the mountain. Awesome. I think, again, have some fun with this. This could be a good Friday activity. Really, really cool stuff. Kids will like this. So that's there for you. And then what you do is whatever you have them do or create with their little bit of paper, then they do a flip grid and share it out with you. So that's how you'll see kind of the learning and what they did. And it's more important that they're talking to you about what they learned than how they folded their book or what they put in it, right? That's the goal. You want to hear what they know. And then lastly, there were quite a lot of world language teachers at the session, and they posted this world language Facebook group that I wanted to share with our world language teachers. Okay, so that was a super fast episode, just a couple little subject matter boosts. We talked about Desmos. We talked about the resource list from the Stanford teachers and thought experiments. There's this Google slide with notes for all different subject matter, and then my little spiel about writing and writing prompts, working with paper, and then the Facebook group. Thanks, everyone, and see you in episode 6.